Also this afternoon, for the very first time, we are hearing from Chief Justice Kwesi Enini-Yeboah, who's waded into criticisms of judges and the judiciary as a whole. Now, according to the Chief Justice, citizens must know that their freedom of speech, just like all the rights, have limits and must be circumspect in attacking the courts. Well, the judiciary in the last few weeks has been in the news following comments by former President John Dramani Mahama, who has called for a change in the leadership of the country's judiciary to repair what he describes as its broken image. Well, we're hearing from the Chief Justice, who's been speaking at the annual general meeting of the Association of Magistrates and Judges, where he's indicating that in the face of unwarranted criticisms, judges must not waver.
Any strong defense of our justice system does not and cannot obscure the fact that it has its fair share of imperfections as a human institution. Like all human institutions, perfection is an impossible goal. This reality lends credence to constant scrutiny with a view to ensuring that our justice system is firmly on the path of professional rectitude and accountability. In this respect, one effective tool is fair criticism. Indeed, appealing against a judgment or order entails criticizing the judgment or the order. It bears emphasizing that the judiciary is not immune from criticism. Indeed, the judiciary needs criticisms, while underlying the freedom of the public in general and interest groups in particular to criticize the judiciary. I wish to reiterate that this should always be done within the boundaries of the law. Freedoms everywhere has no absolute value. Simply put, freedom of speech has its limits. This is an incontestable fact, and we should all bear in mind when dealing with institutions of state like the judiciary. We cannot forbid people from expressing their sentiments in the public sphere, but unsubstantiated and wide allegations against judges, physical and verbal threats and attack on judges are abhorrent and tantamount to attempts of perverting the course of justice. These must not be countenanced as they tend to erode the respect and successes we have chalked up as a nation in our democratic journey to the admiration of the international community.
So this happens to be the very first time we're hearing from Chief Justice Kwesi Enini after John Dramani Mahama went all out on the Chief Justice, accusing him of not providing leadership to ensure integrity within the judiciary itself. The NDC backed the claims and also went ahead to make some further claims that judges and, of course, those who are serving within the bar as well are not being treated simply because of their political affiliation to the opposition party. This is the latest we're hearing from the Chief Justice, but there's also more coming through from the Ghana Bar Association, also appearing to be backing the Chief Justice. So let's get more from Kweku Asante, who's been monitoring that conference, which is currently underway here in Accra. Kweku, let's start off from what it is that we're hearing from the Chief Justice. On what grounds is he, first of all, responding to all of these criticisms?
Like you said, you stated in your lead early on, government and the judiciary in particular come under intense scrutiny as regards to allegations that they are favoring one political party as against the NDC. Indeed, we heard from former President John Dramani Mahama, who said that until Chief Justice Kwesi Enini-Yeboah is changed or is removed as Chief Justice, the judiciary would not get its respect from the public. And so the Chief Justice, this is the first time since this barrage of criticism have been coming in, and he's been speaking for the first time, and he's warning that you have freedom of speech, but your freedom of speech has limits. And so it's a note of caution to persons who like to engage in what they have called unwarranted criticism of the judiciary. And so we heard also from the Ghana Bar Association, who have been saying that they are in full support of the actions that are now being taken by the judiciary, and that they stand in readiness to protect the image of the judiciary.
And we're getting a sense that this is a collective position because the event we're talking about has got to do with judges and even magistrates, those working within the lower ranks of the courts, right?
Right. So it's an annual general meeting of the Association of Magistrates and Judges. They meet annually to assess the judiciary. They meet to look at some of the situations and the challenges facing the judiciary. And so the judges are unanimous in their objection to these specific claims. Indeed, we'll play for you a video of the president of the Association of Magistrates and Judges, Justice Kofi, who has also been speaking about what he says are the maligning and the constant barrage of criticism some of their members have had to face in line of their duty.
You would all recognize that the judiciary as an institution and judges in general have been the subject of quite a lot of rhetoric, attack, and judgments of our courts, even judgments of the highest court of the land, the Supreme Court, have been attacked, and the judges who delivered the said judgments have not been spared either. Even the person of His Lordship, the Chief Justice, as head of the institution, has not also been left alone. There have been articles, commentaries by all sorts of people, social commentators, impugning the motives and integrity of judges where matters affecting the judiciary are blown out of proportion. The association must not be understood to be against citizen criticisms of judges or the judiciary. No. Criticism, if it is constructive, helps to improve any system and makes the various actors to sit up. But that is not the same as what we are seeing lately in the press and on social media. We have been attacked, we have been maligned, and all sorts of things have been said about judges. It is my view that evaluating or analyzing judges and their judgments should focus on how judges apply the law to arrive at a result or a decision, but should not be focused simply on what the result might be or which of the parties to the litigation the decision favors.
Quickly, so that's the Association of Magistrates and Judges, obviously barking what it is that the Chief Justice appears to be talking about. We also do know that the opposition, National Democratic Congress, raised concerns about lawyers. So what's the response from the Ghana Bar Association?
So the Ghana Bar Association, according to its president, Yao Achampon Boafo, says some of the criticism that has been leveled against the judiciary are simply unfair, and that it is not that they are against criticizing the judiciary. What they want to see is for people to be able to point out that these are the specific aspects of a court's judgment that we disagree with. This is what we think the court should have done, instead of a simple blanket attack on the persons of the judiciary. They are serving notice and giving an indication that they are ready to support the judiciary in purging out such persons.
It's a tremendous honor and great pleasure for me to stand before you and deliver a goodwill message from the Ghana Bar Association. The judicial process is not complete without the participation of both lawyers and judges. As a result, it is incumbent upon the bar to assist the judicial system to ensure that the people of Ghana get justice. In a highly politically heated environment like Ghana, there may arise situations where the judiciary may come under unwarranted attack. As I reiterated at the recent bar conference in Ho, the judiciary is not perfect and infallible. However, the proper tools and methods for correcting and improving the work of the judiciary are through constructive criticisms and superior arguments, not acts that target their personalities, undermine their independence, insult the bench, bring dishonor to the administration of justice, and endanger their security and safety. I pledge the support of the Ghana Bar Association to uphold the noble profession and the honor and it is said the only power the judiciary has is public opinion.
Well, so Kweku, that's what we're also getting from the Ghana Bar Association. What do we know about the way forward? Are we likely to see some further engagements in the coming days between the Chief Justice, be it the judiciary, and stakeholders, and also the political parties, some of which are raising these concerns about judicial bias?
So, Blessed, this indication was not given at the annual general meeting of the Association of Magistrates and Judges. It's actually a 2-day conference that will end tomorrow, after which there will be a communique communicating the kind of decisions and the agreements the judges and the magistrates have arrived at. And so it is expected that when they put that out, we'll know exactly what the judiciary intends to do about some of these. But the general sense we are taking and the general sense of information we are getting is that the court is not necessarily interested in seeking out some of these parties who are unduly, in their own words, criticizing the judiciary. They say that people have the right to criticize, and we don't even have to come to you and say that you can say this or you can't say that. But just be measured in your criticism. Just make sure that the specific criticism that you are putting out are factual and it's not against the persons of the specific judges who may have ruled in a specific case. And so in the coming days, indeed, it will not be surprised that if more judges now decide to help people for contempt because they might have said things that disparages the judiciary.
So normally, what's the essence of the annual meeting we're seeing happening, where, I mean, judges of the senior courts and then magistrates are all coming together to dialogue? Is it solely focused on what we're hearing about issues relating to judicial bias?
Well, so indeed, some other matters have come up at this annual conference regarding accommodation for judges, delay in the payment of salaries, among others. And so these are all specific issues that the judges have been raising at this plenary, and they'll be discussing it up until tomorrow. Indeed, there's actually a lecture which is actually closed to the public, which is going to be addressed by Justice Alan Broby, a former justice of the Supreme Court, indeed detailing some of the issues that have come up. But it deals with a wide array of issues, looking at the welfare of judges and generally looking at the dispensation of justice by members of the judiciary, be they magistrate or judges or whatever officials and whatever role they play in the justice dispensing system. And so at the end of tomorrow, when this communique is expected to be put out, the magistrate and judges will be dialoguing on a number of key issues that affects them individually in the line of their duty and that which affects the entire judiciary. So it's not just about a criticism, but it's also a wide array of issues on the table.
Any sight of some of the lawyers who were part of that address? I mean, when John Mahama was raising concerns with the judges, because I do understand that some former attorney generals and also senior members of the bar were present. Any sight of them?
So at this event today, there was no official directly linked or related to the Opposition National Democratic Congress there, mainly because it is the Association of Magistrates and Judges Conference. And so the main persons who were there were justices of the Superior Court of Judicature, the Supreme Court, High Court, Court of Appeal, and also the lower courts who came there. But we also had the Attorney General, who is the leader of the bar in terms of the hierarchy. He was also there to, send a goodwill message. We also had lawyer Opon, who is the head of the Ghana School of Law. He was also there to send fraternal messages. And so there were no direct officials in terms of a relation with the NDC who were there at this conference. It's not clear if some officials were invited and they did not attend.
Then, thank you, Kweku Asante. Let's bring in Xavier Kujeb, PR for the Ghana Bar Association. Thank you, sir, for your time. You seem to be defending the judges, the believers. Why not engage all stakeholders? So you're able to understand where perhaps some of the opposition party members may be coming from in terms of their concerns regarding how biased the judiciary is to them. Xavier Kujeb, if you can hear me, I'm just asking if the Ghana Bar Association is considering any further engagements, yes, in the coming days.
To start with, I don't think that, as the speakers by your tape played said, the judiciary is beyond or above criticism. That is not what we're saying. All we're saying is that criticism is good, but it must be constructive because that is the only way we can build a system as we want it. So it's not as if we are defending anybody. I have said before that the judges also have a role to play. As a judge, I expect you to have 3 qualities. You must be intelligent, you must be energetic, and above all, you must have integrity. Without integrity, we have no business dealing with you as a judge. So they can criticize, but appropriate means and appropriate criticisms must be made. That is all we are saying.
Yeah, but that sounds, and in fact, I must bring that up, but the comments from the Chief Justice sounds almost as though he's threatening dissent. That's how it comes across.
Well, I don't see it that way. I don't see it that way, because let us not forget that the judiciary is made up of human beings. It's a human institution. Judges are human. They make mistakes. But if you want to criticize, the best thing to do as a party, and for that matter as a lawyer or a user of court, is to do a critique of the judgment. And a critique, as far as lawyers are concerned, is by saying that as far as this particular ruling or judgment of a court is concerned, you disagree or you agree on the basis of decided authorities that serve as precedents. And also the law, as you know, is based on the evidence before the court. Because to go on appeal, you even need to show that the evidence before the court was not properly used in your case and the law has been supplied. You just don't do it. So let us not think that it is fanciful or it is just okay for us to criticize. It must be constructive. That is the way we build a system. If you listen to the president of the Magistrates and Judges Association, he himself said they are not saying that don't criticize them, but the criticism must be constructive because they are humans. They learn. But if you think that once you have some feeling that they are not doing well as far as you are concerned, you do a blank condemnation of them, it is not the best. We don't build a system like that.
In fact, in recent times, we've heard from the Speaker of Parliament, for instance, talk about how the Ghana Bar Association is not sharp in criticizing the system. Some even go beyond to say you've become dormant. Why not trigger some level of backroom talk between the opposition party and the judiciary and others who may be having concerns with how justices go about their rulings in these days? We've heard of that proverbial unanimous FC. These are all issues out there, which have the tendency of affecting the smooth delivery of justice within our country. All of these things have come up, and yet we've not heard from the Ghana Bar Association. Is it the case that you're okay with what's happening now?
They have concerns, but if they have concerns, we don't know their concerns. What prevents them? You are asking, why don't we have a conversation with them behind closed doors? What prevents them from letting us know the concerns that they have? Let me give you an example. When they wanted to do the People's Manifesto, you remember they consulted various professional bodies. They came to the Ghana Bar Association. They were led by no meaner person than the former president. There were lawyers there. Harun Adrisi was there, Honorable. All of them, Amaliba, Godwin Tamaklo, all of them were there. So that in the same vein, I expect them to just let us know what the concerns are. Because, look, we are lawyers. We can't just hear things on air or in the media and pick it up. Who do we attribute them to? Who do we address when it comes to such issues? So once they've been able to come to us when they wanted to do their proposed manifesto, I think that it should just be a nice way, in the same way they come to us. So these are the concerns that we have. Then if we don't address them, then they can complain.
Some would say that your president had and I mean by the statement, the president of the Ghana Bar Association had by far the finest opportunity to engage those who are... Yes, I'm talking about the president of the bar, Mr. Yabwafo, who we've just heard from. The belief is had the finest opportunity today of engaging the leadership of the judiciary, i.e. the Chief Justice and magistrates as well. This was an opportunity for the bar to equally demand of some expectations in terms of fairness from the justices. I'm not by this statement saying they're biased, but at least the expectation is that the Ghana Bar Association will equally demand from them, just as you are expecting something from the general public. We've not heard that from the president of the Bar Association. That's something that we should all be worried about, knowing what the Ghana Bar Association stands for and what you've done in the past.
I wasn't at the function, but I've had the opportunity of reading my president's speech after the event. He was very categorical that there are two main group of people as far as justice delivery in Ghana is concerned. So if we want to deliver justice in Ghana well, lawyers and judges must speech. So that is not a platform for him to try to call a meeting to resolve concerns that are being judges and the public or individuals or groups of individuals who are concerned. I have started this interview by telling you that as far as I am concerned as a lawyer, there are three qualities that I expect of a judge. He must be energetic, he must be intelligent to be able to apply the law and do his work well, but above all, he must have integrity. I've said before that if people are not able to resolve issues and they've come to the courts, it is the judges that are supposed to resolve the issues. They should wear the shoes of a God or God Almighty, because people pray to God, they don't get solutions, because these are scientific problems that deserve scientific solutions, so they come to the court. So let us not create the impression that today's speech that was read by the bar president never touched on anything concerning the judges to play their part. It is clear in the speech. I think it was even the opening paragraph, apart from the salutations.
Right. The National Security Minister, I recall, warning judges that there's a link or a nexus between fairness in the judiciary and national security. He's alarmed over some of the judgments in recent times. So, given some of these concerns, what's the expectation of the Bar Association going forward?
Well, to speak to this question, let me first deal with the issue of the National Security Minister's position. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. He was speaking as a lay person. I know he's not a lawyer. I know he's not. So I'll forgive him for that. Look, it doesn't matter if the Supreme Court or any court in Ghana decides that, especially the Supreme Court, in all decisions we will agree, provided the decisions are supported by law and evidence on record. There is nothing wrong with that. Does it mean that we should water down our judicial process just because we want to please people? No, because we are building the system for the future. I have come to meet it. I must leave it in a better position for my children's children to come and also inherit. They may not be lawyers, but they are Ghanaians.
So yeah, it's fine if all judges agree. That's what you're telling us.
There's nothing wrong, provided it is support. You know, they don't work in a vacuum. They have procedures they follow, they have the law they apply, and the facts before them. That is why if you go on appeal, you must show that the judge has either misapplied the law or there is some piece of evidence. If it had been used in your favor, you would have won the case, or certain pieces of evidence had been used against you. Or the judge did not instruct himself well, as far as the law is concerned. Because don't forget, judges do not just come out with judgments. They come out with judgment based on the evidence before them and the law. So they can misapply the law sometimes. They may not use the evidence the appropriate way. So when you go on appeal, you show that. So if there's evidence that all these things have been properly done, why should anybody be concerned? Just because people will complain,
right.
People should change their minds, judges should change their minds? No.
Interesting points there.
The law is not being written by judges.
Right. You've been practicing for quite some time now. Have you seen criticism as sharp as this ever being visited on the bench?
We see them every time, but we see them in what we call the review of Ghana law. There's a journal published by the Council for Law Reporting. If you want to do a thing like this properly as a lawyer, you take the judgment, you critique it based on your knowledge and understanding of the law and the precedents that have been set. And then you apply the law and come to a conclusion that based on the analysis you have made so far, the judges ought to have decided otherwise. It is not about us sitting on radio or meeting at places and talking about it. It means we are not even interested in building our systems. The law develops through processes like this. That is why I started by saying that you do constructive criticism. And this, to my mind, is the best way to do it, because it will be recorded for everybody who is interested to go and buy and read.
Anyway, we'll have to leave it here for now. We'll definitely connect sometime later. Sylvia Kuje, spokesperson for the Ghana Bar Association. In fact,